Um, no, the first banner, which is something about common grounds. Here we go. So we're live. All right. Hey everyone. Ansel Lee here today, going live here on Common Grounds, our channel here, which is going across several platforms, including LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And have have got a special guest today as we kind of kick off our Common Grounds podcast here and live stream, and like to introduce to you um, author and graphic artist and um, uh, spiritual teacher. Um, I don't even know what all to call you, Darren, but
None.
except my friend.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Well, thank you. I just want to say thank you for joining me today here on this and kind of our initial kickoff. Been wanting to do this for a long time, and thank you for joining us.
Hey,
And,
it's good to be here.
well, I'll just say that I, through the years, I've worked with Darren probably 17, 18 years. So it's kind of we've worked on multiple projects. One of the most notable things that I mean, I won't even say it's not. There's probably thousands of things we've worked on together, but he really helped design the cover and the branding, the cover, and wrote several of the chapters in our Common Grounds book. Um, and so when you see the beautiful cover that we've got and the layout, Darren is the talent behind that. And we're currently working on Common Grounds 2. So we're super excited about that, and he's going to helping us on that book as well. And so we're excited. So hey, Darren, welcome today to hey, of all things, Common Grounds.
Yeah, that's right. It's good. Always good to meet on common grounds, isn't it?
It is. It is. That's kind of been my thing with these coffee shops. It's a great, it's just a great meeting place. Um, but besides all your graphic work and help throughout the years, um, you've written several books, and and you're currently writing your first fiction book. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes.
Can I ask you a little bit about that, or without disclosing? You know.
Ask me anything you want, and I'll tell you if I can tell you or not. Uh,
Hey, so you've written several books, and matter of fact, you helped me write Common Grounds, and others. Actually, we've written, oh shoot, probably 3 or 4 books together just on mine. And we'll talk more about that later. But you're really the great go-to guy on writing and books and publishing, self-publishing.
mhm.
And because it is, I mean, self-publishing is you know, it can be done, um, and and you know how to do it.
Definitely a
How long?
challenge.
How long have you been doing that?
So I wrote my first book back in 2012, 2013, and I self-published it actually with a local printer, and actually. I think I may have just figured out that Amazon had a way to do their KDP print on demand system right around that time, and so I immediately put it on there. But then I didn't know really anything about marketing, so it just sort of sat there. I used it for various, speaking engagements and things like that. People caught on to it, and people, found out about it that way. But I didn't. Still, marketing is huge, especially with self-publishing, because in self-publishing you have to wear many hats. You have to, write. You have to a lot of times edit, do your covers. A lot of times do your layout. If you can't afford other people to do that, or if you're not, a designer like I am, it's difficult. And you have challenges that come with that. Fortunately, with my skill set, it's not usually a problem. But anyway, I just after that I started. You know, my passion is teaching, and my passion is writing. And so I said, why not combine these and just share a lot of these thoughts and a lot of these teachings that I was doing about some topics that were, I felt were very important. My first book that I released was called The Four Responsibilities of a Disciple.
Hmm.
And it's a book that, we have a lot of books about discipleship and multiplying and making disciples, and, how to create disciples and disciple people and all that kind of stuff. But um, my philosophy has always been, you can't make what you are not yourself.
Hmm.
You have to first be something to instill that within someone else. And so my book doesn't, address the question of how to make disciples as much as it addresses the question how to be a disciple. And
Right.
it looks at the ancient Jewish concept of what a disciple is, a talmid in Hebrew, and what Yeshua, Jesus's disciples would have been expected to know, to do, to be, and so forth when they were following him, while he walked the earth. And so that's the perspective that I wrote it from.
Wow. Well, thank you. And I think you hit on one thing there that I think it's critical, and that I see, and you know just being talking about, especially in regards to really building a media platform, and not only writing a book but also building a media platform. And that's one of the things that, goodness, I work on a lot. We work on as a team, and is that it's often being authentic, and being real. Um, and and to do that, I mean, it's got to be who you are. I mean, you can't be something that you're not. I mean, I think that's, boy, I think people see through that. And it, and I think people gravitate toward being authentic. And whether it's on my LinkedIn profile or on or face, whatever media Facebook or YouTube, it's this authenticity is a big deal. I had a post the other night that I thought, gosh, do I really put this out there? And I just put it across all channels, in regards to, just, being 59 years old and really you know, kind of, you know, trying to find your path, and it's, and unfortunately, having friends like you along the way, and that you've just been such a blessing to me. And um,
Like,
as as we've gone, um, as we've walked through this life and done work together, it's kind of amazing thing. So you've got several books out there. Um, that's one of your books, but you're right now you're writing your first fiction uh,
correct.
novel,
Right.
and
So I've got,
and
for clarification, I've got 7 published titles. I've got about 3 or 4 more that I'm in the process of working on. One that I've been working on for for almost a decade. That's going to be a massive multi-volume set, and then the other one is the fiction book that I just started in November.
wow, and you're moving along on that. And when do you think you might release that?
That
Any
is a good
idea?
question. So what I did was for those of you who may not know, there's a thing called NaNoWriMo, and it's a website, but it's also an event. And the event is called NaNoWriMo because it's the um, Nano National Novel Writing Month. Okay,
Oh,
November is the National Novel Writing Month, and that's just an abbreviation of that. And thousands of people around the world participate in that event to try to write um, as much as their novel as they can. They plan, throughout the year or whatever, and then they hit November hard, try to write as much of their novel as they can. A lot of people accomplish it. Some people accomplish, parts of it or whatever, because a novel technically is anything that's 50,000 words or greater. Okay,
right.
and if you hit your goals, the goal is I think 1667. So that's the big number. That's 1667 words you have to write per day through the month of November to get your 50,000 words in.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's for a lot of people, especially me. I work really three jobs, one full time and two part time, and that's taken a lot out of you to do that much writing. So um, I write sort of like I eat elephants. I'm one little bite at a time, and then, but over the course of time, it adds up. And three of my books, just an example, three of the books that I'm sort of most proud of in a certain type of way. And I'm going to show you these real quick. It's a trilogy of books. This is called 5 Minute Torah, and these are books from a messianic perspective, looking at the first five books of the Bible and incorporating thoughts from the apostolic scriptures, the New Testament, and so forth. And these books, this is volume two. I should put volume one and volume three. And this is the first one I've done in hardback. And I'm starting to come out with these in hardback now.
Right.
And these books, what I did was I wrote basically a commentary or a devotion one time a week for every week of the year, and then those compiled to make these books. And so for 3 years, that's what happened to combine to make those books. And and so it really is just about diligence. It's about creating that habit of writing and creating that due diligence. But as far as the fiction book is concerned, it's actually a trilogy that I've planned. I plan to do something really small and try to just do my bare minimum 50,000 words when I started working towards this NaNoWriMo. And then a friend of mine's like, man, your story is bigger than that. And you need to plan it out and not, just throw it out there. You need to really engage and lay it all out there. And so I was like, okay. And so we started mapping it out together, and he helped me. He's written a few fiction books, and he became a mentor to me in that regard because this is the first fiction book that I've ever written. And so we mapped it out as a trilogy, and so far haven't got real far. I got about 60,000 words into the first book, 62,000, something like that. And which I realized I thought was going to end at 50,000 originally, and
Right.
probably going to be more like 150 or so
Oh,
thousand
wow.
per book. And I realized I had some issues of science that I needed to study,
Right.
and all my inner workings of the world and all that kind of stuff together because it's a fantasy series.
Right.
And also I had to deal with some character motivations and some plot points and things like that. So I've sort of taken this last couple of months off from that, focused back on some of my other materials to get my mind, sort of decluttered and away from the thing, and where I can look at it fresh again. And I've started putting pieces of that back together now, and hopefully we'll start back up on that soon.
Oh, very cool. So, now where can people find out more about your like you were just telling me about your YouTube channel that you really have been working on these videos that you actually releasing one right now.
Right. One just launched right as we went live. Um, and it
Fantastic.
is what I've done was taken the material from my latest book, 5 Minute Torah, Volume 3. And what I've done is I've condensed this material even further, which is meant to be this portion, each little sort of chapter is meant to be read in like 5 minutes or less and give
Right.
you a nugget to chew on about the scriptures and so forth. And what I've done is I've put those into sort of a video format, not giving you the complete text, but giving you sort of pieces of it, maybe throwing in some extra stuff, and trying to do it in an engaging way. And before I was just reading the portion, and I got bored of myself even doing that. So I've learned some techniques, and I began to watch some tutorials on how to make engaging videos, how to do lighting, how to do sound, how to do editing, and things like that, and created some more engaging content. So last week was my first of that, and this week I think is even more engaging. And I look forward to doing these, and they'll be, God willing, produced every week.
Well, hey, they're really good. That first one. I mean, I would encourage anyone to go over there to and look Darren up on his YouTube channel. As you see here in the banner below, you can actually type that in and go straight into his YouTube channel.
And so this,
And
let
his
me just
video.
say something about this word. It's Amet HaTorah, and it's a Hebrew phrase, and that's why it's so foreign to you, and why people may be struggling to know, how do I pronounce that? How do I type that? How to remember that? But it's Amet HaTorah. Amet means truth. HaTorah means the scriptures, basically. So the truth of the
Cool.
scriptures.
Outstanding. Well, we could never need it more than we do right now. That's for sure. Well, thank you. And if you had someone that wanted to, are there any, books that helped you begin to write, that you would recommend, or um, you know, or any resources online that you would steer anyone to that's wanting to write a book?
Yeah, I would say there's not been really any books that have like um, helped me write. I've always written. I've written as a child growing up, and enjoyed it, and always had a desire to write something that would change people's lives, make a difference in the
Yeah.
world. And so I've just always had a passion for writing, and communicating, breaking down difficult topics and subjects into bite-sized pieces for people to understand. And I would say probably the biggest resources that I have gravitated towards are people like I just totally went blank. I had him in my mind. He wrote Tribes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not Googling anything right
Yeah,
now.
but you guys will know him. Anyways, a very
Yeah,
popular blogger and podcaster and author, and has written many books. He's all over everywhere. But his whole thing was, you just got to keep at it, and just get your thoughts out. Don't worry about what people think, and so forth. And that was one of the motivators and the advice that I got. And the other thing is just, doing something I'm passionate about. The other thing is, hearing the various authors, especially learning about self-publishing and things, of just how that, self-publishing, people tend to just write something and throw it out there, and that's never the best. And
right.
so what we need to do is change the narrative, and I think the narrative has been being changed over the last several years through the Kindle desktop publishing platform and others, where people are able to publish the books. But then, we had a flood of just mediocre, stuff out there. But now people are seeing that there's competition in the market, and now they're starting to step up their game and to create more quality works, meaning not necessarily the types of works, but the amount of time that they invest in their projects. For instance, just one thing is always have an editor. Hire someone to edit your materials, because they're going to see things that you're not, and they're going to give you tips and advice for how to clarify your message, and how to avoid redundancy, and how to check for this and that and everything. And I was blessed for probably the first 4 or 5 of my books. after I published the first, book or so, to have somebody volunteer to edit my books who had been trained in editing. And she did an amazing job. Unfortunately, she had an accident where she had a brain injury and a few years back and was not able to continue that. And
Yeah.
that was a huge loss for me. And I still feel so bad for her as well. But it made a huge impact on the quality of work that I was putting out. So I had to try to find another editor, and I got a volunteer this time, and I'm looking for others, and I'm looking to hire people. And cover design is another thing. You need to have somebody design your cover that's going to be appealing and attractive, is going to engage people. And being a graphic designer, I am, you know, I can do that type of thing for myself, but most people can't. And yes, that's Ansel. Thank you. That Seth Godin is the person I was talking about.
Seth Godin.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
he's
Oh,
been
was
very
that Ample
inspirational.
4? Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, you were just saying that, that, really great photography,
Yeah.
and the cover design, the writing. I tell you, you just, I mean, there's so many pieces of, self-publishing, and all those matter. And I would say photography, great graphic design, great branding, and, and I will tell you a quick story about, when I was writing Common Grounds that, um, I'd sent it to I'd sent it to, the editor, and, uh, and that, and it came back to me, and somebody put their arm around me and said, "Okay, look," because I looked at it after she got a hold of it, and, of course, she's red everywhere, and I'm just like going, "Oh,
Yes.
no.
You
What am
have
I?"
to be prepared for the blood.
I'm telling you, I was so, oh, wow, I don't know, wow, it was just, that was kind of overwhelming,
Right.
and fortunately, you guys kind of came alongside me and said, "Look, it's gonna be okay. Let's look one edit at a time. Let's just go through this." And I made it through, and, I didn't have to take too much medication, but it was, no, it was, the editing process is painful, but it's really worth it, to make a great end product that somebody
Let me
will wanna
say
read,
something.
that something that'll mean to something to somebody. So
Right.
it is
Exactly.
painful, for the writer for sure.
Let me tell you something real quick that got me inspired as well. That just happened recently. It's inspiring and depressing in the same breath. But I've shared this with you, Ansel. But my favorite fiction author, Brandon Sanderson, just broke the internet, and I mean he trashed it, because this is what happened. If you haven't seen it already, he created a Kickstarter campaign. Well, first of all, he released a video that said he had something to confess, and he has a huge following. He stays closely connected with his followers, and he has thousands upon thousands of people that follow him on YouTube and follow his Reddit streams and all that kind of stuff. And he interacts with people all the time, and so people were freaking out, thinking, "Oh no, something has happened. Maybe his health or something. He's going to have to stop writing." This is a guy that publishes multiple full length, large novels a year. I mean, he is
Right,
amazing,
right,
and works on all these side projects and everything. And so
right.
he comes out and he says, "I've got something to confess. Basically, COVID has been stressful for everyone." He says different people handle stress different ways, and the way I handle stress is I write. And so he goes boom, 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 boom. He said, "I wrote 5 new books over the last 2 years, aside from all the projects that I've been working on that nobody really knows about. And I just thought I'd release them and let you guys know about them."
Uh,
And so, anyway, and then he did a Kickstarter campaign to publish these books, self-publish these books. He's on major publishing. He has publishing rights with major companies and everything, and tour books and different ones. And he wanted to self-publish these. And when he did, he did the Kickstarter campaign for him, and he set a goal of $1 million, and he surpassed the highest Kickstarter campaign in the history of Kickstarter, which was around $20.5 million. And when it closed out last Thursday, he closed out at more than double the highest Kickstarter campaign ever at 41, almost $42 million for people wanting to fund his books. Basically, you buy in and you get product from that once it's released.
Right.
And he did an amazing job. But it just tells me that people love, first of all, they love the marketing, they love the engagement, they love the quality, they love the being able to enter into the world that you create, and people like things like that. And he's able to. He did probably as good to be on a New York Times bestseller list in just the self-publishing as he did in his national marketing campaign with his publishers.
Wow.
Amazing.
Amazing. Well, that was, and you turned me on to that while it was happening, and it blew my mind, and it's still blowing my mind. And I'm not sure that I understand it all yet, but I do know that there are areas that it really inspired me. Matter of fact, I think it inspired me. You know, um, his story, and there's another author that I'm close to. That I should and with she writes fantasy. Her name's Quinn Loftus,
Hmm.
and she's inspiring, and has inspired me, and we hope to have her on here soon as well. Um, and we probably ought to. Anything else? We're kind of coming down to uh, around 30 minutes, but anything else you'd like to share about how can people find out more about you and your books, and where can we send them to um, that they can find out more besides going to Amazon, but besides going to your YouTube channel? I'm sure you got a great, I know you got a great website.
Yeah, a
But
website that I've been investing all my time in other things. That it's not as current as it used to be. You know, it needs to be, as everyone says. But anyway, it's a methatorah.com, and you'll be able to find links and all that kind of stuff there, and be able to connect with me there. And so, hope you guys connect with me. If you want to send me an email, send me, whatever to connect. I would love to hear from you, and love to hear your feedback from my books. I've got several positive. I got several 5-star reviews. I've got almost 100 5-star reviews on my Hanukkah book. Hanukkah. It's called Eight Lights, a Hanukkah devotional for followers of Yeshua. And I've got about 50 on my Haggadah for Passover, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks. This is a Haggadah that's a Messianic Haggadah for followers of Yeshua, of Jesus. And this has been a popular work too. So you can leave me some feedback there, and I'd love to connect with you.
cool. So hey, can they sign up for your newsletter as well on your website?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, if you watch the video on YouTube, then you can actually sign up for. It gives you a link to sign up for our mailing list, and it also gives you the ability to access a lot of free downloads that you may be interested in as well.
Fabulous. Well, hey, listen. Hey, again, you have been such a great friend, and you've helped me so much, not only in this work world, but personally, and as a writer. And you you coach me along, and tell me the truth about stuff, and help guide me. And I just am so grateful.
I
And
value
thank you, Darren.
it.
And we'll have, again, Common Grounds 2 is coming. Hopefully we can have it out. It's sometime this summer. We plan on releasing it. More to come on that. Just stay tuned. But at any rate, this is really kind of I, again, my kind of my partner in this whole thing, and has helped me so much. And at any rate, thanks for being part of our live today. And hey, hey, listen, if you're on here, and if I can help in any way, and you get you information, get you connected to Darren, find more out about Common Grounds, you can definitely go to our website at ansellee.com and leave us a message there, and I'll get back to you, and or on any of the media that you're on right now, you can connect with me directly. So hey, thanks for joining us today on our first well, not our first podcast, but our first live stream. And Darren, thank you so much for taking time. And
Thanks for having
hey, we will see you soon.
Sounds good. You guys be
All right.
blessed. I appreciate you.
You too, Darren. Thank you.